Hi. One of my more popular ways of fishing for smallmouth bass when they're in waters 10 feet or deeper is using the Carolina rig. And one of my favorite plastic baits for fishing for smallmouth is your tube bait. The only problem with the tube bait is it's not very buoyant. In fact, it will, with a hook in it, it will not float off the bottom very well at all. And of course, as many Carolina rig anglers know, they like to have their bait floating up off the bottom while the sinker is on the bottom. That was a problem. But that problem was solved for me a few years ago when I was shown this little trick. And it incorporates this little item right here. It's a foam earplug. They're used for ear protection. You can buy them in almost any pharmacy, and I'm sure a lot of other places. They come in bags of 20 and very inexpensive. I personally bought these at a Rite Aid pharmacy. The idea of the earplug is, of course, is that you roll it up until it's very thin. Then you insert it in your ear and hold it, and within about a minute or so it begins spreading back out and it will seal off your ear canal. Of course, the idea that I have with these little devils is that they're very buoyant. And I was shown this little trick where you take the earplug just as you were going to insert it in your ear, except you just open up a tube bait and you just insert it into the tube bait. Then I take the end of a simple ballpoint pen, the blunt end, and shove it all the way up until it's in the very front of the tube bait. Pull the pen back out, and it's as simple as that. Within about a minute, it will expand out, and here's a bait that I did a while back, and as you can see, the plug is all the way up in the front, the ear plug, and as you can see, it's perfectly round, still has some softness to it, but most importantly, now this little tube bait floats like a cork. Now my favorite way of fishing the tube bait behind a Carolina rig is using a nose hook. And my personal choice for the nose hook is a Gamakatsu wide gap 1/0 drop shot hook. And the reason I like the wide gap is that it has this flat area on it so that the tube bait will stay right on the end and will not ride up this way or down this way with some of the other bend configurations on other hooks. And in turn it cuts down on, if it gets cockeyed, it cuts down on its spinning, which will twist up your line. Now a lot of you anglers out there who have fished nose hook plastic before, such as on drop shots or whatever, know that you have pesky little critters down there such as bluegill, rock bass, small perch who like to grab a hold of the tail end of your plastic and give it a good jerk. Well, you're at the other end, you feel the jerk, you set the hook back, and lots of times you tear your plastic off and you have to re-rig with another plastic. That doesn't happen with this. The reason being is when you embed the hook into the nose of the tube, you're also embedding it into the nose of the rubber earplug, which is very durable, very tough, and will not tear loose. I've literally used one tube bait all day long in catching 15, 20 smallmouth, and it was still using the same tube bait. And the amazing thing about it is it seemed like the more chewed up the tube bait got, the more bass it caught. So it's just amazing, amazing deal. When I'm fishing open water away from weeds and a lot of wood, I use an open hook just like this. But when I'm fishing in weeds and a lot of wood around, then I go to the same Gamakatsu hook except in the weedless model. It has a little fiber weed guard on it, and really cuts down on the hang-ups. And that's good because these little devils are spendy. They come out to about $1 a piece, so I don't like losing them. But anyway, with this little setup here, you're going to have a tube bait that floats nice and high. It's very durable. It'll tremendously cut down on the amount of torn up tubes you have at the end of the day. And it's a trick that catches me a lot of smallmouth, and I hope it works for you. Thanks for watching the video.